This story happened on December 24, 1963, a real event that was inconceivably induced by chanting a grand mantra. Lai, a 54-year-old woman living in the Help Each Other village in Taichung City, usually takes his 5-year-old grandson to her friend Mrs. Lee's home across the street. To get the blessing of the Great Compassion Mantra for pacifying the perturbed spirit. Giving blessing of the Great Compassion Mantra to pacify the perturbed spirit is a very efficacious, also a convenient and ingenious for persuading people to chant the Buddha. At noon on that day, Lai was working in the kitchen. Suddenly, she lowered her head with the body cramped. Her 5-year-old grandson was very clever and quickly ran to the door across the street and called out loudly, "Vegivore Grandma, Vegivore Grandma, hurry up, go and help my grandma to pacify her perturbed spirit." Li immediately went to their home. When entering the kitchen, Li was shocked, seeing Lai's eyes had turned white and were unconscious. Her mother-in-law in her 70s was supporting her right body, and her eldest son was supporting her left body. Both people were so frightened that they kept screaming. Li told them to calm down and chant Amitabha Buddha together. Thus, after they had chanted for about 20 minutes, Lai sighed unconsciously and began to speak. He stood there and asked me to go with him. "Who is he?" Li asked her. "He's my husband Lin," Lai answered. Li said to the ghost after chanting Buddha aloud, "Mr. Lin, please don't take Lai, you must take good care of her health. Because she is a filial daughter-in-law, serving your mother, taking care of the minors who are not grown up, you must not take her." Lai's mother-in-law also talked at this time. "Son, since you have died, your wife and I depend on each other for a living, you must not lead her away. If you lead her away and leave us, the old and the minor, how can we make a living, and you are not filial?" Li persuaded the ghost again. "Mr. Lin, you should be mindful of Amitabha Buddha and be devoted to chanting Amitabha." After saying the words, she kept chanting Amitabha unstoppably. After they chanted it for almost half an hour, Lai spoke again. She said, "3 deities are glittering, 3 deities are glittering, husband go with them." Li asked her, "You ask him, what is the name of the 3 deities?" Lai said, "He said Amitabha Buddha shines and shelters him." Lai awoke from a coma instantly, and she recovered within just a few days. There is a reason that Lai suffered misfortune this time. Afterwards, her mother-in-law said to Li, "Since Lin passed away 3 years ago, Lai missed her husband every day. She ran to the tomb alone in remembrance of him more than 10 days ago and wept bitterly. Since that day, every night, she dreamt of her dead husband returning home. The strange thing was that not only did she dream about him, but also everyone in the family dreamt about him." Li was quite puzzled. A person had been dead for 3 years, why was his consciousness still in the tomb? I think there may be 2 explanations for this. First, Lin was probably very egocentric during his lifetime. So when falling into the ghost path after death, he still lingered on his body and became a corpse-guarding ghost. Second, when Lai went to clean the graveyard and wept for her deceased husband, the lonely hungry ghosts in the cemetery transformed to Lin's appearance and followed her back home and make troubles. According to the Sutra of Earth Store, when those who do good in Jambudvipa are about to die, hundreds of ghosts and spirits from the evil paths transform themselves and appear as the parents or other relatives in an attempt to lead such people to fall into the evil paths. How much more is that the case for those who have done evil deeds? I am not sure which of the above 2 cases it could be. Smart readers, can you answer me?